Welcome to Map My Route, an audio storytelling project. In each episode, our guests will map their personal histories of place and share the lessons they've learned along the way. My name is Nicole Wright. In this first episode, I want to share a little more in depth about what this project is and how it's aligned with my own personal history and future of place. In college, I sat at a banquet dinner before the career fair and listened to a speaker tell the attending students, "You can do everything you want in life, just not all at once." My friend and I, both very captivated by international travel and creating a purposeful life, were so inspired by this quote and have repeated it to each other for the last decade or so. We initially referenced it to encourage each other to put off more serious, quote, life decisions, but as we enter our 30s, it's felt more and more like a foreboding. In a world of truly infinite opportunities and destinations, and amongst the pressures of making a career, starting a family, or just checking off that bucket list, how does one possibly decide where to live? Where we decide to live creates the setting for the community we create, the jobs we find, and the meaning we make of our lives. My interest in documenting personal histories and experiences is two-pronged. First, I am very curious about what makes each place we visit unique. What is the historical context of this place? What is the unique topography and biology that influence the five senses? What iconography are people drawn to? How do we possibly find the words to describe the exact cocktail of culture we find in the places we love? Most Americans will never visit all 50 states, let alone every big city or two-lane town in our country. We do get to explore these places, though, through storytelling. Secondly, I want to know how people view their own personal journey and decision-making process regarding place. If they've moved often, what values, scenery, and aspirations are they motivated by? If they've made a nest in their hometown, either choosing to stay or choosing to return, how do they relate to that place in the tapestry of their life? And after their respective decades of experience, what have they learned about identity and belonging? I grew up in a city suburb in Michigan and opted to attend college as far away as possible while still paying in-state tuition. I was enchanted by the untouched, rugged beauty of Michigan's Upper Peninsula and knew I'd always want to live driving distance from a swimming hole. I briefly moved to Rochester, New York, and then to various neighborhoods in Metro Detroit as I joined the auto industry as a college intern in engineering. In 2013, Detroit was very intriguing to me. It's the biggest city in my state and is chronically misunderstood. I moved into a studio apartment in Lafayette Park in downtown Detroit with a view of Windsor, Ontario, following my graduation. Over 4 years, I would downsize to cozier digs, sharing historic Detroit-style homes with friends. There's a quote by city resident and entrepreneur Jeanette Pierce that says, "Detroit is big enough to matter in the world and small enough for you to matter in it." I really related to that and often felt that Detroit was the most interesting city in the world. In 2020, it was time to shake things up. I moved cross-country to live in the small town of Sequim, Washington, to try on the lifestyle of a dear friend I met studying abroad. I had been visiting Washington for 5 years and had been reading their local newspaper for months prior to moving. There were a lot of social expectations I had and expectations of myself that I struggled with. It seemed I had wanted to copy and paste someone else's life onto my own. 1 year later, I left feeling like my love affair with small-town Washington was best engaged with as an enthusiastic visitor rather than a faithful resident. I tried to regain my sense of self and independence in big city Seattle, but at the same time, I was also tussling with the dynamics of living with a romantic partner for the first time. Staying home and tending to my own backyard was easier than playing the lottery of finding community among thousands of young, new transplants in the city. I grew to love so much of Seattle, especially the way the trees bloomed in the spring. But when my relationship fell apart, I realized I had not built enough social structures to support me. In late summer 2024, I made the urgent decision to return to where my story started, under my parents' roof in that city suburb in Michigan. I anticipated that somewhere along a year of rest and recuperation that the decision of where to go next would present itself to me. Instead, I've come to accept that there is no right answer waiting in the shadows. We all must go looking for our destinies and use the information and heart available to us. We will likely survive anywhere we might go, and we may even find the elusive concept of happiness. Every idea spurred of grad school or going off grid, or starting over, is another thread of unlimited alternate universes where we explore ourselves in a different way. As a Virgo and reluctant perfectionist, this thought can be paralyzing. Two songs that I've been thinking about while writing this are first, the timeless Talking Heads song, This Must Be the Place. The lyric, I'm just an animal looking for a home, describes that which cannot be described, the ambiguity of existing in a meaningless and meaning-filled world. There are themes of self-discovery and existentialism and acceptance in what is that reflect these questions about what it means to be on our journey and choose place. I also revisited a musical from my teenage years, Avenue Q, which is a crass, adult-themed Sesame Street puppet show. The main character, Princeton, has just finished college, looking for his purpose and naive to many of the ups and downs of life. The ensemble boldly singing lyrics of "Nothing lasts, life goes on," and "Everything in life is only for now." There is really no definitive comfort, and that is also part of our journey. If we're asking the hard questions about life, we may never truly be at ease. Can I find something to love in my hometown? Am I meant to return to the city where I started my adult life? Is there more to experience in the Pacific Northwest that I left behind? Or should I find a new chapter, somewhere, anywhere? Stuck in the present, no longer tethered by nostalgia or longing for a certain kind of future, these answers have become harder and more daring to answer. As I become curious about what it means to choose somewhere to live and how others navigate these kinds of decisions that seem to hold an unbearable weight for me, I am led to this project. I hope to understand how my loved ones across the country dance with the choice of place. In a time where one can choose to live anywhere, how do they choose and what meaning do they give to where they live in the story of their lives? Together, I hope we'll learn about places new and old to us, reflect on what makes our personal histories special, and feel more grounded and inspired by the choices we make about place. Thank you for being here and for listening.